following is a recorded interview with the Winnipeg thrash metal band Phantom Killing. Could you each introduce yourselves and what you play in the band? We'll
Ryan,
start with Ryan. Yeah.
All right.
My name is Ryan Spence, and I play lead guitar for Phantom Killing.
Whoa! Oh my God! Whoa, it's man!
All right.
Contain yourself, people.
All right, Blaze. How about you?
My name is Blaze. I play bass in Phantom Killing and occasionally do a few yelly backing vocal things.
Nice. And Michael?
Oh, me. Well, my name is Michael. I do the rhythm part of the band stuff, and I do screamy screams for us. And so, yeah, there's that.
All right, Tiago.
My name's Tiago. I play drums, and that's just about it.
Nice. All right. We'll just get right into the first question, which is, where do you get inspiration for your songs? The ones you have out right now are both pretty different thematically. So, like, what inspired them?
God, I don't know. Usually, like, for riffs, they just kind of come out of nowhere, if I'm being honest. But for me, at least, definitely, my imagination goes wild with every kind of riff, and I just kind of associate it with something that sounds like a weird, freaky, kind of ugly riff, like for Creature, that da-na-na-na-na, that scale thing. That sounds like something that's kind of like a monster type of sound that would go well with that image. So I just kind of associate it with images for me. Song. And like for
I wrote that one starting with the main riff. The main riff is kind of just like a simple chugging thing, like with some different rhythms, and there's a really killer breakdown in there, which I think is like the strongest point of the song.
It's probably the best Phantom Killing riff. The ba-ba, ba-da,
it is a pretty good riff. Yeah.
It's Phantom Killing's best riff.
I ripped off part of the riff from a Testament song called "Burnt Offerings," like just slightly. It's just like it inspired me, I suppose you could say.
Yeah,
Nice.
well,
yeah, I mean, art inspires art, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Kind of hard with like metal to like not sound like someone else, because everything's been done already, unless we create a new genre like banjo thrash or something. Until then, we're every other band that came before us, but whatever.
I could get an upright, see if that goes and changes the sound a little bit.
All right, yeah.
Not saying I'm gonna be good at it.
Michael, I believe it was you who first reached out to me. And you mentioned to me that thrash metal is a rare genre in Winnipeg. Did that influence the formation of Phantom Killing, or is it completely unrelated?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Winnipeg, for sure. I think especially when I was like, for those who don't know, Tiago's camera just dropped.
I'm just using my phone right now. Sorry, but
yeah. Is there a dog there? Oh, okay.
That's my dog. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. Sorry. To answer your question though, did thrash have an influence on creating the band? Yes, it did. For me, even when I was a teenager, like in high school, a lot of things that were popular for metalheads my age at the time were very much the core genres and stuff, which is cool. But for me, like it carried the heaviness, but for me, nothing really, carried the speed in a sense. So I've always loved the stories of the San Francisco Bay Area thrash scene and all of the stories of those kind of bands and everything. And for me, I felt like Winnipeg didn't have that as much here, especially for younger people in their 20s and stuff like that. So I figured, like some of even the biggest bands in the world, like Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer, they're all thrash. So it's like I figured we got a chance here. Winnipeg might have a audience for that. So yeah, debatable, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of definitely one of the main reasons for sure. Just I don't know, just to have a little bit more of that in the scene, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, kudos. I'd definitely love to see more thrash bands in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyone else have thoughts on that or?
When it comes to thrash metal, like honestly, like with the scene we that we're in, I see like a lot of death metal bands and a lot of punk bands. Hell, there's also like a lot of like thrash inspired bands.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's there's not a whole lot of like pure thrash bands, and like yes, like some of our songs are granted like not like 100% pure thrash. Like I would say that Burn the Witch is more crossover, and some of the stuff I'm starting to write is not necessarily pure thrash. But I think that that having new thrash bands, especially from people that aren't necessarily old, uh, like like like
It's
like
more intriguing.
non-boomer thrash, I think
Yeah,
is healthy for the thrash scene.
that's
Yeah.
basically us right now.
Yeah. Nice.
And
Yeah, a little
granted,
bit of
and granted, like our lack of experience, I think that like as like time goes on, I think that we will really tighten up and like
Oh yeah,
sound way better as time goes on. But
yeah.
honestly, I think that what we are doing is generally speaking good for the metal community and as a
For
whole.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Some of that like pure thrash elixir.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in the pot, stir it up.
I would definitely say though, like in regards to the speed element of thrash, the only other closest thing besides that in the scene would definitely be the crust punk scene for sure, because a lot of people aren't really too sure of it. It's kind of just like it's basically thrash metal without a lot of palm muting and stuff like that, like very
Yeah.
angry stuff like Black Flag or to some degrees like maybe a couple Dead Kennedy songs. It's very unhinged. So I feel like that's the other closest thing to Winnipeg. But yeah, besides that, there's not really a whole lot of pure,
I would say like there
bands
are some
here.
like bands that have like kind of like a groove metal kind of thing that kind of get close. Yeah.
Next question, but where did your band name come from? How did you come up with Phantom Killing?
No idea. Like
Blaze doesn't know. Ryan knows, I think. I don't even think Tiago knows, do you?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I've never.
No clue. Okay, well,
There's
I
like
have
many explanations you can give to
God,
it. But
there's
go for
like
it, Michael.
10,000, man. Okay, so this is gonna be a nerdy thing, but in my room here, so there's this movie, right? It's this movie from the 70s called Phantom of the Paradise, and I'm sure some of y'all have heard the Phantom of the Opera story, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
The premise of that. So, Phantom of the Paradise was a movie that was only successful in like Winnipeg and like a weird place like France or something like that. Basically, it's like a 70s rock and roll spin-off of the Phantom of the Opera story. And that movie is timeless, man. There's so many great ballad songs in there. There's so many great, characteristics of the 70s rock stuff, which is cool. But that was one of the reasons I liked the Phantom word. I guess another reason was because me being a huge Metallica fan when I was a teenager, kind of getting into all this. I've always liked the song title Phantom Lord. I wasn't too crazy about the song, but it sounded different to me. So there was that. So because of that movie and that song, I've always liked the Phantom word. For the killing word, I was just kind of like, a thrash band needs to have, what do people like about thrash? Okay, it's punchy. There's like, there's fast riffs in it. There's, there's high pitched stuff in it that people like, to get that that thrash itch in their brain. I don't know. So it was like, killing. It sounds like a violent word. So I thought Phantom Killers, and I looked that up, and just to make sure no one was using it. And turns out Phantom Killers were actually a real group of serial killers. Early 90s. Yeah, man. And I was like, shit, that's cool. And all these killings were basically people that they're kind of like ghost killings in a way, where people didn't know if they died by other people or if they just died by hauntings and stuff like that. So I was like, holy shit, that's cool. But I didn't like the way Killers sounded. It sounded hokey, but I thought of Phantom Killing. I was like, wait a minute. we could call the band Phantom Killing and the fans Phantom Killers, which
Oh.
Blaze hates. It reminds him of Jake Paulers, but that's another
Oh,
story.
Yeah. One thing which I will say this, which I don't know if any of you guys have thought about this or not, but to me, Phantom Killing, it just sounds like a rip on the Ghostbusters.
Hey, you know what? It works.
It is what it is.
I mean, I didn't think of that once, so.
Okay, I was just at work, like bored out of my mind, just thinking about what I was gonna do later that day, and I'm just like, oh, Phantom Killing is just Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Never
There
gonna
you
get
go.
out of.
Yeah.
All right. Next question: what bands inspire you to write more / continue with Phantom Killing?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'll
Can
let
I
you.
answer this first?
Yeah, man, go for it. I've been rambling.
All
a lot.
right. Honestly, for me, I think like the band that inspires me the most, like gives me the most ideas and inspiration, would be Testament. They're my favorite thrash metal band. I think their stuff in the '80s, I think musically and lyrically, it was like really good. Like their first stuff, but I didn't really like the productions of those albums. But like all the riffs and stuff are there. One of my favorite things about Testament is they actually went back after Chuck Billy beat cancer and they re-recorded all their old songs, and they like got such good production, and the music sounds so much more fierce, so much better. Like it was so tinny before, but now you can actually hear like the beef of the bass and stuff. But all those riffs, their solos and stuff too, are really like it's a really fun thing to study and kind of rip on a little. And I'd also say like another big thing, what I've been writing lately, I've been using a lot of kind of like Slayer inspired riffs, just because of the intensity and kind of the chaos that it's got to it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I would say
For
for
that.
my solos too. Like whenever I have to write a solo, like I'm always like I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I try and like take a bunch of elements of a bunch of different guitars that I like, but that aren't necessarily always thrash. Like I really like some of the stuff Kurt Cobain does with guitar, but you could take that as whatever if you like it or not. Some people think he's a
Just
good
kidding.
guitarist or not. I think it's good. I think the way
Yeah.
that he like just uses noise in his solos like ambiently is like pretty ingenious. And I also use a lot of Hendrix style guitar riffs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get inspired a lot by like seeing other local bands play, because just seeing like other local bands play makes me want to just like keep pushing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
because some of the local bands in Winnipeg that I've seen are like so good, and it just makes me want to at least like personally progress more as a musician, just to like get on that level.
Right. What other local bands are you a fan of?
Honestly, like Unveiled, like I know we're friends with them, but they're like
Oh, yeah.
genuinely like I genuinely think like they're so cool.
Shout out to Unveil.
Chernobyl
was
Wolves.
really good.
Chernobyl
Oh, yeah.
Wolves is like crazy. It was like one of the best like live shows I've seen.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Um,
Solemnum's riffs were like to die for. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't seen them play like a full set before, and when I saw them at the last show that we were at, it was insane. I couldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
those guys killed it.
Yeah,
Also,
they're really good.
also at that last show we played Spectre. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Spectre was
New
good.
band.
They're just popping up. They said it was their second show ever, but yeah, they
Yeah,
had some really good riffs.
those
The
guys-
guitar playing was insane too.
More
Was
80s
a
bass.
monster. A couple of like other local bands. Regurgitated Guts is up there for me.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. I was like, he's gonna say regurgitated guts.
The best metal band from Winnipeg, hands down. Indigo, those guys kill it. The Castangs, those guys are phenomenal. Phil is probably one of the best musicians I know. Just like the way he sonically innovates on the instruments.
Yeah. I have to.
And he has to fill so much space because it's only a 3-person group too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Blaze. What about you, man? We kind of got
okay,
sidetracked with that.
For me, some bands that inspire me, which not all of them are thrash bands. When it comes to thrash, there's this one band out there called Fusion Bomb. which they released this album called Concrete Jungle, which just blew my socks off. It's probably my all-time favorite thrash album. So that has a big inspiration on the way I play, as well as some non-thrash things like there's this band called there's this band called Tribal Tech. It's kind of like a jazz fusion with Gary Willis on the bass. Every time I listen to that, it just blows me away, and I feel a lot of it really sort of comes out of my playing. Also Meshuggah as well, especially their first album, which was basically like Metallica but prog. Just
Metallica prog.
Perfect the entire way through. There's this new song I'm working on right now, which the main riff is a transition between 4/4/3/4. I kind of stole that kind of playing a little from Meshuggah.
Is it acid? Acid.
Yeah, it's acid.
We're hinting at a new song exclusively for Thrash Talks right about now.
Thrash Talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Meshuggah, Tribal Tech, Fusion Bomb, like there are, and like of course there's like countless other bands, but like those are the three that like come out to me right now.
Nice. Yeah, for me, not to sound like a basic, but I mean, listen, I still think Metallica's neat. All right, Lars's drumming is whatever. Like Tiago's could smoke Lars any day, but like, man, I don't know. As a kid, dude, Metallica was the first band that really made me take notice in metal. Weirdly enough, I think for me, I actually didn't like get hooked on Metallica with the early shit. What got me as a kid was when they played with the symphony orchestra. That, like, what the as a kid, I was just like, what is this stuff? And like specifically the part in Master of Puppets where they have the French horn and the solo part going, that whole thing opened a whole new world of music for me. But
I am gonna be completely real with you. I never listened to that album.
Dude, we're watching it one day. We're hanging out, couple beers, like, dude, absolutely. Your mind's gonna be like with that. But yeah, no. Anyways, like for me, it was a combination of that and of course, I had the rock and roll dad that always had the music around and stuff like that. But I think as I got older, I've gotten myself familiar with more bands. Like, of course, the way Chris Thrash talks about Exodus and stuff a lot, that's what got me hooked on Exodus. And of course, I would hear the other bands and discover the San Francisco Bay Area. I would hear Testament, Death Angel, all those guys. But for me, definitely that style of thrash, the old school thrash, could never really be beat, at least for me, because that speed, that energy, that, I don't know, that determination, that raw energy is something that I always love to hear in my music. So that's just it for me, I guess. But that's the short abridged version of my ramble. But
all right, cool. Okay, as a band with not many public releases yet, you have the opportunity to kind of forge your own path musically and thematically. And I'm just wondering, do you know what kind of direction like take Phantom Killing thematically?
Do you guys want to answer that one, or should I?
I think that we'd probably have different answers, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
I assume we'd have different answers.
Okay, let's
This is the point of contention.
I'll go. I'll take it first. So, what I was hoping for myself was I was always a fan of the way that Megadeth did their kind of thing. Like the first Megadeth album, I associate it's like very visceral. It's very hard hitting. It's fast. It's like punchy. It's not super focused on like being the most technical or like playing into like the quiet sides of making a metal song. It's very in your face. But I like what Megadeth did, like going to Rust in Peace afterwards and like doing like a really technical, really like tight ironed out album, like going from that first initial punch in the face like to just kind of making it sweeter, more technical, and like honing your skills and just kind of getting better and better, and but still having that that rage inside of you.
Blaze, you want to go?
If I had my way on where
My way.
on where the band's like musical direction
My
would go,
way.
I like I kind of I'm wanting to go and experiment more with the sonic capabilities of what we can do, as well as key signatures, time signatures, different elements. So like I kind of with the music I want to introduce to the band, I want to go and work on kind of pushing it towards a progressive thrash element with a bit of jazz influence.
Ooh.
Something like a
Like
corner
Havoc.
type thing.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Like Havoc or something like that. Havoc definitely has a couple of weird bass.
Yeah,
jazzy things in it.
Havoc is so good. Holy
So
shit.
does Lich
They're
King.
pretty good.
In Black Metal Sucks, the end literally just yeah.
Yeah, I
I was listening to this
know Lich King.
I was listening to this song earlier by this this band. If I could just give me 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Um
We're about to get a Blaze review. Oh.
Sorry.
it's a band
Thiago's rage
band
quitting.
called Panzer Ballad. It's kind of like jazz meets progressive metal, and they have this song called they're pretty good. They have this song called Hero Blast, which at around the 5-minute 12-second mark, they have this guitar solo they have this guitar solo, like dual guitar solo, and it goes and switches between different guitars every 2 to 4 notes. So it's like if like we could go and like get to a point where we could
I get good at guitar. Then we can.
if you could do good, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for me, like the direction of Phantom Killing, I've always loved the idea of, doing band stuff while you're young and getting out there as soon as possible. For me, we have a couple of plans of us playing a couple shows a little outside Manitoba. That's coming. That announcement's coming fairly soon. But the thing is with me, I've always loved that. Right after Metallica did Kill 'Em All, they just basically were out on the road and stuff like that. Whether or not that's going to happen to Phantom Killing, we'll see. I mean, we have the power of the internet now versus people in the 80s, so it's a lot easier for people to get out there versus people back then. Like, back then, you actually had to go to these places to get stuff done. So, for me, album tour, and whether or not we end up somewhere else, if we get lucky, we'll see. But I don't know. I guess that remains to be seen. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind traveling every time we release something, honestly. But that's just me.
I don't know. I think it would just be cool because I know we're like old school thrash, but if we could just like develop our sound more, still thrashy, it turns into kind of like our own thing, Because like I'm still new to this band, so I'm like, I don't really have like too much of an opinion about like things yet, but I think that would be cool to like keep like experimenting with like different styles to kind of create like our own thing, almost like a subgenre of thrash, or like if that makes any sense.
Giving this guy a raise. That's
Progressive jazz thrash. Let's go.
Progressive jazz thrash. All right. I don't know. Does it say how much time? Your call ends in 8 minutes.
We could do it. Speed run.
We can do it. Yeah. Okay. I'll ask my closing question first, and then we'll do the other one just in case it cuts out. But how would you describe Phantom Killing's sound to someone who's never heard it before?
Oh, you guys go first. I'm curious to hear your answer.
I would say, honestly, I would say we're kind of like the spirit of the San Francisco Bay Area, but we're kind of like, I'd almost call it like Red River thrash.
Red River thrash. I like
the Red
that.
River of
You got to put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Good
Because
idea, man.
I think
We'll
we
try
try
to-
and we try and stay really true to like the fact that we're like from Winnipeg, we're Canadian. We do it. We're taking it in our own direction while like paying respect to the people who came before us. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
really just red river thrash. That's what I would describe it as.
We
That's
raised
awesome.
Ryan well. Perfect.
Blaze, how about you?
Okay, in 3 words, cringe boomer metal. But no, I would say where we are at right now, I would say yeah, kind of San Francisco Bay Area. I would say like I think we kind of got like a similar feel to like to almost like Kill 'Em All.
I wish.
If that,
Maybe.
not saying as not saying like the quality, granted,
Yeah.
but I think that we kind of I think our goal is to go and achieve like that like raw like 80s sound from these bands that we're really trying to go and get their like voices out there, but still didn't exactly like know what they were doing. And I think that we are kind of executing that sound pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that like the music we make is definitely a love letter to the 80s.
For sure.
Yeah,
1000%.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I'd probably agree with Blaze. It's definitely like very early thrash metal, I'd say.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, for me, I'll try to make this quick here because I'm looking at that timer.
It's only 5 minutes. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, well, I mean, the other guys said it first. Of course, that old school, kind of raw, unhinged sound. But for me, I would even throw in the bonus of having a lot of punk energy for sure. Like if you could, let's say, like put a band like Black Flag in there, at least for their vocals being very unhinged and change the guitar playing to more of a thrash sound. I would definitely, if I had to like zombify sound to someone, like, well, this is what we sound like. If I was talking to like a music nerd, I'd be like, I don't know, we have like Exodus guitar playing, but maybe Black Flag type of I guess strong structures, even writing styles and even vocals. So I don't know, that's how I would put it. But I guess to like if I was talking to boomers or something, I'd just be like, yeah, old school Metallica, Exodus, something.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
We gotta be careful. Like 70% of our fans are boomers.
Maybe, yeah.
They go to one of your shows and they're just like, these guys aren't 50.
Hey, what the hell? They're 20.
Guys are just showing up to our shows with canes and walkers.
Yeah.
Oh, time to start a mosh pit. I am over the age of 29. That must mean I'm super old.
Sorry, I keep forgetting this is on the air, man.
Wait, we're on air?
No, we're not on air. No.
It would be like,
No, I can cut all this out if you want me.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
No.
Well, if it was live, we'd be a lot more appropriate.
Exploding. My phone's just exploding with people just screaming at, yeah, you called us old. What the fuck, bro?
All right, with 3 minutes, do you want to attempt
All right.
the
Speed
last
round.
question? What
go.
inspired each of you to become musicians?
Oh.
All right, I'll go first really quick.
Speed round. Speed. Thrash,
would
we're
say-
speed. We can do this.
Okay, I always, since I was a kid, I always played the fiddle. Like that was because I'm Métis, it was part of my culture, so I learned how to play the fiddle. And then I started getting really into metal music because one day my uncle was like, "Ron, come downstairs. Like I got this cool record. Like I want to play it for you." And he put it on, and it was Slayer's "Rain and Blood," and I heard "Angel of Death" for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" Like you hear the double kicks going, and I was like, I need to listen to as much metal as possible. And then from that, I got my own guitar and I just started diving into it and getting into Megadeth, and I was like trying to emulate what they were playing. And yeah, that's kind of where my hunger for metal came from.
Awesome. Okay, Blake.
I guess I've just been. I remember like singing when I was a kid.
Oh, you're cutting out a lot for me.
Okay. Basically, I'm good at it, so I might as well do it. That's really it.
That's a
That's the
good
most
reason.
based answer you could have had.
Base answer.
But like when it comes to metal music, I was at school and I was pissed off because it was this year and things weren't going my way. So I started bumping to Marilyn Manson. That was my first experience with metal. And for me, the two first bands I fell in love with metal wise, which I just ate up, were Manson and Megadeth. So
Tiago, what inspired you to become a musician?
There we
I've
go.
always just been like interested in music like since I was a little kid and like all genres of it. Like I remember making like beats on like free apps that I'd like download like on my phone and stuff. And then for metal, like recently, like my music taste has like always like just kind of constantly been evolving. So I've kind of just been getting into like heavier and heavier music. But like Slipknot's probably like what first got me into metal. And then since then I've been like diving into like a bunch of different like other metal bands and metal subgenres.
Cool.
Slipknot's been huge for me as well. It's been probably a year or two since I last listened to them, but they were huge for my development as a metal fan.
Oh yeah, I second that. They're great as always, but yeah. Okay, for me, getting started into music. I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I've always same as y'all. I've always heard that shit as a kid. I mean, it helps when you have like the rock dad that's always playing it in the car when he's driving around or like casually at home or whatever. But I think what did it for me was when I was probably in middle school and I heard the other people were playing and stuff on the radio, and it was just a lot of poppy stuff. And I just remember thinking to myself like, oh, this isn't as cool as the stuff I'm hearing at home, And from there, it wasn't until like high school where guitar class was a thing, and the guy was teaching us like Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and stuff like that, to where I actually started playing. I was like, holy, this is the coolest thing ever. Nothing is cooler than this. I'm doing it for the rest of my life. And I'd say about maybe 6 years later, after getting past high school, I think I'm doing all right at that. So.
Yeah.
There's that. But yeah, no, definitely. I don't know, like bands specifically. I think I've already mentioned, all the Bay Area bands and things, but I definitely have to credit my dad for music and stuff like that as a kid. So I'll give the credit to the pops for that one. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So I don't have anything else, and if you don't have anything else, we can call it here. It was awesome meeting all of you, and I hope to see you at one of your shows or just around at other shows.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
dude. Yeah,
I'd
thanks for
love
having
to-
us on,
I'd
man.
love to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
It was honestly a pleasure being on here. I really enjoyed the interview. Yeah, if you come out to one of our shows, that'd be fucking great. We're on Spotify. Just search up Phantom Killing and listen to our.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much for having us, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Yo,
man, it's super cool. Thank you.
you so
Yeah.
much for coming. All right.
No
Yeah,
worries.
thank
Take it
you so
easy.
much for having us.
All right, metal. There we go.
See you around.
All right.
See you guys.
Peace, man.
Yeah.
See you guys.